Good Wednesday morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. It is midweek. Can you believe that? Won't be long. The kids are back in school. Well, they got another week, but it won't be long and the new year will be here. We're coming up on that this weekend. Hard to believe that 22 is going away. It's been a fast year, but I sure have enjoyed it, spending it with y'all this year. As we look at it right now, if you're thinking, "Burr, I'm cold," well, you are. It's 30 in the Meridian area, and you go a little bit north of here, a little bit cooler. We'll look at all of those temperatures here in just a little bit on radar to show you what's going on. But the interesting fact is it's going to be more than double the temperature that it is now before the day is out. Sunshine is on the way as we head for a high of 65. Now, we do have some rain coming into the forecast on Friday. We'll talk about that. Another chance on Monday as well. Going to be a wet one, it looks like. A couple of days worth there anyway. All that's up and coming there as we get ready for another year. You ever just known better not to click on it, but I did it anyway? I couldn't help myself. Y'all remember The Fall Guy? Do y'all remember that? I saw the theme song to it, and I clicked on it, and now I can't get it out of my head. I'm the unknown stunt man that made Redford such a star. It's hung in my head. I'll try to get rid of that in a little bit. Let's head out to Collinsville now. We all need a good word to start the day, I think. And we're going to talk with Brother Ben, and he's going to tell you all about, well, a star. Let's go to Collinsville First Baptist.
You know, the birth of Jesus wasn't just good news for Bethlehem and Israel. No, it was good news for the world. And for that reason, God put a sign in the sky to alert the entire cosmos that the Christ had been born. We know this sign as the Christmas star. And there were some men of great knowledge and wisdom called Magi in the faraway country of Persia or Babylon who noticed the sign of the Christmas star in the sky and headed to Jerusalem to meet this newborn king. We're not told how many Magi there actually were, but we know they brought 3 very valuable gifts: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. They traveled nearly 1,000 miles over many weeks and probably arrived when baby Jesus was only a few months old. And when they finally found him there in Bethlehem, they gave him those 3 gifts and did what was only right to do. They fell down and worshiped him. Beloved, have you in your heart and life fallen down and worshiped Jesus? You certainly should. He's worth giving something way more valuable than gold, frankincense, and myrrh. He's worth giving your life to. Wise men still seek him. And if you seek him, you'll find him. You don't even need a star to guide you. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. Pretty smart fellows, weren't they? Those 3 wise men. Good morning. Again, as we begin our day, already put 6:33 this morning. We're off to the races with temperatures rising 65 today, and we're going to do that again tomorrow. We'll get to 70 tomorrow, believe it or not. As I said, though, right now it's a little bit different. There's a blanket of frost outside. You would definitely want to warm things up before you head out this morning. Let's look at radar. Let's pull up Meridian Honda radar here and just look around the area of what we got. As you see, there's no rain or anything going on, but as we zoom in on this and take a look, 34 at Hattiesburg this morning, 30 at Keyfield. We've also got 30 degrees showing up out at NAS Meridian this morning. Over in Jackson, it's 37. By the time you get to Starkville, if you've got kids up there, 28 today. As we go further north there, 24 at Columbus Air Force Base. Chilly weather, isn't it? All the way up here to Olive Branch, in the 20s in this area also, right there at the Tennessee line. 26 over here near Winona. A little bit of a look there. As you back out this across the United States, not bad there. Nothing really horrible going on. We got some rain back out here in Tucson, Arizona. A little bit of snow in these areas in the northern portions of the United States. But again, that rain will make its way towards us in a few days. We'll look at the forecast extended here in a few moments to let you know exactly what's going on. As we begin our headlines today of what's going on, we go to Clarke County for our first subject. Now, of course, this is number one. We've got someone who's injured who needs medical attention as of 11 o'clock, and I haven't gotten any notices overnight that he's been found. But the Clarke County Sheriff's Department is looking for someone, and let me get a button here and get this up where y'all can take a look at this. Injured in the car wreck that we showed yesterday morning. As we pull this up, Tyler James Mashburn is being sought for fleeing the scene of an accident. If you saw those videos that we shared from Clarke County Hot Topics, the car was basically split in half and thrown into a home. The person who drove fled the scene, believed to be Tyler, and they do believe that he is injured, most likely a leg injury. Utmost important that he get to the hospital. Of course, he's been out in this cold weather for a couple of days now. Not good. Regardless, charges and all of that can be handled afterwards. I think the medical attention is the concern of the sheriff's department at this point. And if you looked at the accident, it's pretty bad. How anyone, number one, walked away. How you could even walk away. It'll be pretty rough there. So if you happen to see him somewhere in Clarke County area, call the sheriff's department. The number is at the bottom of that poster, and you can reach them. Well, we had a couple of structure fires yesterday. Last night, we had it was a limb fire, brush fire, so to speak, there off Jimmy Rogers Parkway that the Meridian Fire Department responded to. I know a lot of you were sending me a message asking me about that, and that's what that was. It was a brush pile on fire. We also had a fire at 32nd Place as we pulled this up. They arrived on scene. They were able to put this out, but they did have flames when they arrived there. Awful to get your home damaged. We pray for those who have received damage this year. Fender benders not as busy as I would have thought yesterday. A few people starting to stir. It's not as much traffic on the roads as one reason you're not seeing as many wrecks lately. A lot of folks are staying at the house and getting through the holidays. We did have this last night, yesterday evening there. This would be right along the Highway 19, if you want to call it Highway 39. This is right at the Texas turnaround as you're going toward Chick-fil-A and Sam's in that area. Small fender bender, nothing horrible, but it did ruin someone's evening. Believe you me, it will mess up your evening by the time you get all that taken care of. We do have a road closure that we wanted to bring up, and let's point this out of exactly where this is, what we got from the city of Meridian. This is going to be Grand Avenue between North Frontage Road and St. John Street. Now, here's the map that was sent out. It's this area here. And let me do this as you look at that, and that's a way of travel around it. But let's pull this up where I think you can almost see a little bit better version of what we're looking at where it's going to be closed. As we pull this up, this is I-20. It's America's best value. Here is North Frontage Road and St. John Street. Of course, Newell Paper Company sits there. It's going to be this stretch of road right here from North Frontage Road down to St. John Street. That area right there is going to be closed. There's St. Luke back in here. Now, you can go around North Frontage Road in these areas here to get where you want, but that stretch right there will be closed for plumb near a week. So put that into your plans or your travel plans if you have to go around it. Only a tad over a half a mile stretch there that will be closed down. Hope it'll work out there for you there. Good morning to Corey. Good to see you up there. Richard Nelson is up. Timothy Dean, good to see y'all. Wilda Gibson, good morning to you. Pat and Jim Coker stirring today. Thelma, glad to see you. Now, we do have two brand spanking new police officers as we go to take a look what the Meridian Police Department sent us. Congratulations to these young ladies. Isaiah Naylor and Miss Vernice Haddix have graduated. They are now MPD. They patrolled last night for their first shift, and we welcome. Hope they had a good first night and learned a thing or two there. I'm sure that sticks with you forever, your first night as officially being a police person. Man, person is the right word, isn't it? I want to make sure I said that correctly. As we look to the north of here, Shuqualak, I've been there many, many times in my life. I'm sure you have too if you've never stopped off and taken a left there and gone across Highway 21. A nice town. Inside that town, you'll find Shuqualak Lumber Company. Boy, they had a boo-boo there Monday night as we find out a Klein caught on fire. Two of them, as a matter of fact, over the planer mill. Destroyed it. Shuqualak Lumber plans on replacing what caught fire, but rough situation there on Monday night. The fire started around 10:30 and lasted to nearly 7:30 the next morning as firefighters, volunteer fire departments are making in the area there at Shuqualak fought to get that out. A lot of people depend on that for a living there. big time there in Shuqualak. The Mississippi Highway Patrol has released numbers, and over the weekend, we have found that 7 lives were lost on Mississippi highways. No good way to even word that. We do see that troopers wrote 5,200 speeding tickets or citations, however you want to word that, and there were 80 DUI arrests on Christmas, on that time period from the 23rd to the day after Christmas. 7 deaths. That's way too many, isn't it? That's up 1 from last year. As we turn to Vicksburg, things are going on in the state of Mississippi. We've seen this in several Mississippi towns. We talked about one yesterday. It was found in Terry. But now Vicksburg is the latest town in Mississippi to have a body found. Decomposing as we get into this, as they discovered the body of a male subject near a casino. This would be near the Ameristar Hotel and Casino. Y'all know where that is in Vicksburg. They've sent it off for an autopsy. Hope to find out more about it soon. Don't know whether that's homicide or just natural causes, but we'll look to find out on that. What happens when you feel like you're being cyber-stalked? Somebody's harassing you. Well, you call the police, don't you? That's exactly what they did. It's just Macomb is where we go on this. Turns out the guy had even gotten in the house, and he was arrested in the air conditioning vent of the house, hiding. That's bad. He's been arrested, and he'll face a judge before long. Roderick Matthews of Macomb. As we look at all this, you don't understand how somebody can let something escalate into wanting to climb an attic. Yeah, we'll leave that alone. But as we learn more about that, we'll find out. They're taking a hard line in the city of Brookhaven. As I think a lot of you remember the slogan in Meridian that was always used. It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your kids are? And that's what they're doing in Brookhaven. A hard line drawn in the sand. All kids, juveniles, got to be home by 10 o'clock. You can't be out. We'll see how that works out. Maybe that's going to help with the growth of crime. We see it all over the state. This is, most of these have been doing it 11 midnight. But Brookhaven, taking that step forward and going, do you need to be home by 10 o'clock? We'll see if this works out. Hopefully this will set a standard for the state of Mississippi where police departments and cities will start enacting this to where you can't be out. I think most would agree that not much good happens after that time. It doesn't. Y'all know it as well as I do. Well, you don't see many of these left, but you're getting ready to see less. As Sears went out, of course, a lot of us who got the tools were saddened by that. And then there was these stores, hometown stores. Do y'all remember those little hometown Sears stores? Looks like they're going away also. 115 of them will be closing across 36 states and Puerto Rico. Now, there's 5 in the state of Mississippi that will be going away, and I think there's some in Alabama as well. But for sure in Mississippi, you've got Natchez, Brookhaven, McGee, Greenwood, and Olive Branch will be losing these stores. They'll be selling off at cheaper prices. Who would have ever thought that Sears and Roebuck would go away? Sears. It has definitely changed, hasn't it? Marshall County, we look at this. This is sad, sad, sad. 22-year-old mother was killed during a fire. She was staying with someone. A neighbor woke up and someone was beating on the door. It was an elderly guy. They went back and tried to get the 22-year-old girl out of the home. They were not successful. She perished in the fire. Summer Malone, we pass along condolences to her and her family there. Marshall County, Mississippi. That's a tough one to swallow there. You remember the 2 escaped convicts that we brought up from Raymond over the detention center? No, they're not caught. Officials are saying they think they're in Texas. One of them was from there. I'd say it's a pretty good reason that they're there after they found the van they stole in a creek, submerged. Great place to start, isn't it? That's what I would think. Do you remember yesterday we talked about the homeless man that was found on the side of the road, the 57-year-old man? We didn't know much about it. We're starting to get more details out of this as a couple of hunters come along and found him in the early morning hours, deceased on the side of the road. More or less, there's no other way to word it than Simply, the man froze to death. Tragedy to even think of that. What was he doing? What was going on? As we found out more about this, it turns out he was trying to get to his family in Tennessee. Didn't have the money for a bus ticket. He was doing his best to get there. He had left New Orleans, headed for Tennessee. He never made it. Cold weather got him. Tugs at your heart, doesn't it? Does mine. It's sad how things like that can happen. Jackson, Mississippi. The police are saying they're going to enforce the law and make it easier for you to shop. I'm scared to buy gas there. Just saying, but they say they can protect you if you're out shopping. That's Jackson. Just pass along what the police department said. I feel almost safe thinking about it. Don't you? Yes, you're involved in a wreck, and this is the Columbus area, Lowndes County, and many of you and me and everybody's been involved in some type of fender bender before. But what happens when you have that fender bender and the person that bumped you gets out and robs you? Yeah, 66-year-old lady was involved in an accident, a little fender bender. The gentleman that hit her was about 33 years old. He jumped out, hit her, stole her money, and ran. He's been identified, if I'm pronouncing his first name, as Demario Berry. He's been charged with aggravated assault and robbery. Of course, you're innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, just as a reminder. What is the world coming to that a younger generation thinks it's okay to assault elderly people that are helpless? A 66-year-old cannot take on a 30-year-old person. We all know that. And especially, this crosses several lines. A man hitting a lady? What has happened to our society that people think it's okay to do that? My vote is we got to start teaching things at the home level. It's where it begins. It's not the police's fault. It's not the city's fault. It's the home life that makes a person. And if we don't get families back, folks, we're into a rude awakening on down the road. Another generation or two, and what will we have here? My thoughts, well, you and I won't be around, will we? Will we? Most likely not. But we worry for the future of our country and our families. Christmas Day, as we've talked about this many, many times, of families, some just can't get along. Another party, if you'll remember, we talked about a party that happened, a Christmas party in pajamas, where people got in a fight and shooting amongst them began. We go to Clinton next for, well, not quite the same, but it was a get-together, and an argument happened, and, well, somebody was taken hostage and held that way until police arrived. Really? You should really watch your guest list. Do you have a criminal past? Nope, you can't come to my party. That should be asked, I think, of all patrons. Boy, shocked me there. Anybody ever heard of the restaurant in Jackson named Primo's? You most likely have. I've eaten there several times. They have several locations. The owner of that has passed away, one of the original owners there, Kenneth, 98 years old. He will be missed by many in the Jackson, Mississippi area. I've eaten there many times. Condolences to the family on that, and as the next generation continues their service. Let's see what else is happening around the state. Often, as we see judges be lenient on people that stand before them, sometimes it's not the judge's fault. They can only prosecute what's handed to them. This may be the case in this, as a murder suspect stood before him. There wasn't enough evidence to hold the person. He was turned loose. And guess what happened a few days later? Oh, he's arrested for aggravated assault this time. Yazoo County. Takes a team. It takes the police making sure that they've got all of the I's and the T's and all of that crossed and dotted to make sure that, well, bad folks don't get back out. As important as it is for the police to arrive, that little piece of paper, as we all know, right there, is everything when it comes to a court of law. Make sure, if you're watching me and you've got a staff, that they fully understand how to fill out that paperwork. In the end, it's everything. I'll have a story in a day or two of those who are being turned loose in our area because of that same reason. Well, the paperwork wasn't quite where it needed to be. They may have sat there for 2 years and never charged due to lack of paperwork. Now you've got somebody that was accused of drive-by shooting. Oh, did I think out loud and let that out already? Oh, I'm sorry. We'll have that story in a few days. Actually happened. This should have happened here as we look at some of the national news. Louisiana. I'm not going to show the video because it's despicable. In my terms, is you have a homeless person sitting outside a store. They're cold. A convenience store worker has been fired. She asked them to leave. They wouldn't. And in that 14-degree weather, she took a bucket of water and threw it on them to make them leave. She's been removed from her job. Just simply, I don't know the word for it. Lack of respect for those. I don't care who you are or what you do. You can be down on your luck and you don't need to mistreat others. If you can't handle it, call the police. Let them handle what they do. That's sad. It truly is. We'll be right back. We're going to check that forecast here in just a moment.
Sanders Gas, Sanders Air and Heat is your full-service propane supplier since 1946. We take pride in ensuring reliable, friendly service to our customers. We also provide safety tune-ups related to propane, air conditioning, and heating systems, keeping our community efficient and safe. I'm Chuck Sanders, and yes, we're local.
The Precast Group, offering you the best selection when it comes to a storm shelter. Located on 145 South in Meridian, where they offer above-ground shelters that can be installed in your home as you're built in, are conveniently located right outside your home if it's already built. They also offer storm shelters that can be installed in a slight bank or on flat ground. Protect your family today with a very affordable storm shelter from the Precast Group. Highway 145 South, 601-482-0003. The Precast Group.
Tate's Fireworks in Marion is open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. till 8 p.m. and again on New Year's Eve from 8 a.m. until. They offer professional-grade fireworks at a low price, and if you don't want to scare your pets, they offer versions that are sensory-friendly. Video monitors placed throughout their store to demonstrate how they perform in the sky. Tate's Fireworks has maintained the same great prices they offered last year. Be sure to check out their buy one, get one bins, and don't forget, they guarantee no duds at Tate's. Shop local with Jeff Tate and family at Tate's Fireworks in Marion and Collinsville.
As I look at the comments, many of you get it. You really do. As Bree mentioned, you remember when you were young and the term, do you need to go to the woodshed? As she points out, not enough woodshed out there. A lot of amens on that, and we do hope that something can be done, something taught. Time out, well, that's not always the answer, is it? No consequences. People just keep doing things. That's the same thing with the law. Put them in jail, nothing is done, and they're out in a day or two or a few hours. It's not going to stop anybody from doing anything wrong, is it? I didn't think so. Let's check your forecast now.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
As we go back for your record highs and record lows, 2021, that was a year ago, believe it, 79 on this day. And we're sitting at, 30 right now? Brr. Our coldest day was in 1925. It was a cool 10 degrees on this date. Even a bigger burr. Whew. Today, we're looking at 62 to 65 is what we're looking here as we go up through Philadelphia. 63 to 64. Cooler in the Columbus, Starkville area today. To our south, even warmer. 67 at least there in Hattiesburg. And again, I think they'll bump this all the way to 65 from the National Weather Services. They update this. This was made right at midnight. They've updated that, I think, since then. As we look to Birmingham, 62 in Tuscaloosa, 64 in Demopolis, and we'll see about 64 there also in Livingston, Alabama, in the Epps area, all through there in York. Not bad weather at all. As we come across, warmer weather is here, and again, we're going to get all the way to 70 as we get this for the New Year's. Way back out here, there's a little bitty chilly cold front there, but we got hot weather for a few days. We'll watch it. Now, as we look at our 7-day forecast brought to you by the good folks at Wilson Saw and Outdoor, those steel chainsaws, you like them. 65 today, 47 down tonight. As the temperatures rise, look at this. Tomorrow, 70 for a high, 54 for low, and by Friday, we'll get at least a 70% chance of rain, into Saturday with a 50% chance, and then on into Tuesday, a 40% on Monday, and then that 80% chance of showers there on Tuesday. We'll watch all this. Should any of this turn bad or rough, we'll be live and be here to tell you about it. Let's look at our outlook as we go all the way through January 11th. Let's look at it. We're staying in the 60s. It will be the 9th before we start seeing 50s during the daytime once again. It's January 9th, right around Elvis's birthday there. The 11th, we'll see 57. As we look to this, what's happening with the fishing today? Well, your best time to fish was going on right now through 7. It's almost over. You'll get another shot at this right at dark 30, around 5 o'clock. Great fishing. Kind of medium there at lunchtime. Wind's going to be south-southeast, 5 to 10 this morning. If you headed out to the woods to deer hunt today, it began this morning at 6 o'clock and is going good until about 8 o'clock. That's your first major time. And then right after dark, it'll get better. Medium time there around 1 o'clock. If you've got a lunch hour to kill, you could try it. Your best time is a morning hunt today. As we look to that wind again, south, 5 to 10 today is what we're looking at. It's going to about take care of things as we do the countdown. Don't forget this. This is so close as we get near to the top of the year, the end of it, rather. Tate's Fireworks. See them 4 days until the new year. Tate will be in this morning to talk with us a little bit about fireworks and things that are going on. Hope you'll join us at 8 o'clock this morning. Right at the top of the hour, we just mentioned, I posted that last night about Louisville, the fire department and the police department. We're talking about the water. And Ms. Cunningham just posted that they said the water system is back operational. So if you live in the Louisville area watching, that's good news, isn't it? I can get an amen on that one. Not having water is miserable. That's worse than not having electricity. If you don't believe me, do without both and see which one you miss the most. I'm serious about that. Again, we'll see you back at 8 a.m. this morning. We'll talk more about the changes of the time that are coming up for the morning show. We're going to be moving this to 7 a.m. beginning January the 16th. Our show that's at 8 o'clock now will move to 7 a.m. We'll talk more in detail. There's going to be an adjustment with this one due to that also. But the big show will be moving to 7 a.m. Fox 30 here, YouTube, and also on Facebook beginning January the 16th. We'll talk more about it up and coming. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. We'll be back shortly as we start this Wednesday.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners: